Election headquarters. Here is This Week in Louisiana Politics.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Fred Childers. Thanks so much for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Politics on your local election headquarters. A lot is happening around the state, so let's get to it. A big step forward was taken Wednesday at the governor's mansion in the effort to lower the cost of car insurance in the Pelican State. The governor signing 6 bills into law, a move he claims will help solve the problem. Louisiana First News reporter Michelle Masson breaks down the new laws.
A crowd gathered at the governor's mansion to witness Governor Landry signing several bills. Of the 6 bills Landry signed today, the first gives the insurance commissioner more power to hold down rates, similar to our neighboring states. The second measure requires people who claim they've been hurt in a car accident to prove their injuries were caused by it.
This points to a cultural problem of frivolous litigation driven by lawyer advertising.
The third, preventing drivers without car insurance from collecting bodily injury medical expense awards below $100,000.
I promised that I would strengthen our uninsured motorist recovery law, or our no pay, no play law.
The fourth prevents people in the country illegally from collecting damages in car crashes.
I promised that we would prohibit illegal immigrants who drive on our streets from cashing in on frivolous lawsuits.
The fifth measure, drivers responsible for at least 51% of a car accident would be kept from receiving damage awards to cover injuries. And number 6, saying a premium discount will be given to policyholders of commercial vehicles that have dash cams installed.
We will now require a 5% premium discount for large trucks that maintain dash cameras on their trucks to record their movements and protect them from lawsuit abuse.
Meanwhile, some are remaining skeptical, saying they'll believe it when they see it.
The insurance industry has promised again and again that if you just take this right away from an injured party or just take that right away from an injured party, your rates will go down. They never have.
In Baton Rouge, Michelle Masson, Louisiana First News.
Now, the governor also plans to sign the hands-free distracted driving bill into law, prohibiting drivers from using their cell phones outside of a mount while driving. Now, the newly minted city of St. George is one step closer to having its own school district. Senate Bill 234, which passed out of the Senate Committee on Education, you see there on Wednesday, would create the St. George School Board and the school system. But a lot has to happen in the legislature and even at the polls before this comes to fruition. Senator Rick Edmonds from Baton Rouge is the author of the bill, and he says since this is a constitutional amendment, even if it passes out of the House and the Senate, it still must go before the voters of the state.
Democracy is a beautiful thing. It allows people to be able to choose how they're governed. And so the city of St. George now has become a city with its own mayor, with its own, doesn't entitle them necessarily to a school system. However, this is exactly what has been asked for by the general public of the city of St. George and its residents for almost 15 straight years.
Now, if the bill passes out of the House and the Senate during this session, it could end up on the ballot in April of 2026. State lawmakers are also pushing forward a bill to help homeowners fortify their roofs. Data from the Insurance Information Institute shows homes with fortified roofs have minimal impact from hurricanes compared to homes that aren't fortified. If passed, the bill would offer a $10,000 tax credit to help with the costs. A civil rights group is condemning the end of federal investigations into cases of alleged police brutality. The Trump administration has ended the Justice Department's excessive force investigation into Louisiana State Police. One of the cases the DOJ was looking into was the arrest of Ronald Green, which led to his death.
The Trump administration's Department of Justice has walked away from its responsibility to enforce civil rights law and protect black lives. This retreat from justice is not just shameful, it's deadly.
The civil rights group says state and local leaders need to fill the gap if the federal government will not pursue civil rights enforcement. Governor Landry and AG Liz Murrill praised the Trump administration's move to end the investigation into LSP. Lawmakers voted to move a bill forward that would allow the sharing of full disciplinary records of K-12 students. House Bill 344 passed out of the Senate Committee on Education on Thursday. Under current law, records are only transferred if requested and if there was a suspension or expulsion. Under the proposed law, the information is readily available and would also include reasons for the discipline. Representative Stephanie Barrault said she authored the bill after talking with district attorneys, school boards, and teachers.
And I said, what can I do to be helpful for you? And they said it would be very helpful for us if we knew the background of the students who are sitting in our classrooms. It is very hard for us to manage when we don't know what we don't know.
Not everyone is on board, though. Some education advocates opposed the bill, telling the committee it's unnecessary and would create more barriers for students. The bill has already passed out of the House, but must pass the full Senate. Another state bill went through that same committee. It's aimed at preventing hazing on college campuses. It would make anti-hazing training a requirement for all college students. The organization would be responsible for the training. If it passes, any organization not in compliance with the law risks being shut down. A newly released report by the Federal Chemical Safety and Hazard Investigation Board reveals a series of incidents at a Geismar plant were preventable. Officials say the Honeywell Performance Materials and Technologies facility failed to maintain its equipment or establish safety measures. The report also found a lack of communication among the plant workers. A new environmental report claims an Ascension Parish ammonia plant is the top air polluter in the nation. The group say CF Industries in Donaldsonville produces up to 8 million tons of ammonia and fertilizers per year, which even with limited exposure can cause health issues. Coming up, another Capitol Steps interview. This time it's about a critical look at the state's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The author not pulling any punches. That's next. Stay with us.